All right, everybody, welcome to Mid-America Dirt. I'm Skip, and I've got Chris Wilhite Jr. here with me. Chris, how you doing?
Pretty good. How are you, man?
Pretty good. We had some connectivity issues, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we got to work through it all now. But,
we got some storms over here in Oklahoma. Maybe that has something to do with it. Well, Chris, man, I've been wanting to talk to you for a while. That is a sweet looking car you got. Sweet looking car.
Thank you. We really take a lot of pride in trying to make all our cars look good.
Where did
Everyone
you come
seems
up?
like that bird on the hood too.
Where did you come up with the bird? I mean, I probably
Actually,
know how.
something my dad come up with about probably 10 years ago. He had a modified and got a wrap for it, put it all on there, and then we never even raced it or anything. And he got rid of the car, and we got these cars. He wanted to see it on the track, so that's what we went with.
So you come from a racing family. You're not first gen.
I do. So back in the 80s, there was a track called County Line Speedway in Meeker, Oklahoma. My grandparents built it and ran it for probably 20 years.
Really?
And then they ended up selling it 2 or 3 times, and now it's called Red Dirt Raceway, and it's for sale right now.
For sale again, isn't it? I went there
Yep.
one time. I got to go there one time last year we went and we went to watch those. And I don't know a lot about these either. The non-wing big sprints, and it just so happened that all those big guys were there. You know, the big names. And
So that was that 410 race probably they had.
Yeah, it was. It was. And you know what? Like I said, I put in my intro video that I missed 30 years racing. And I'm not
Right.
And I don't know much about sprints. One of these days I like to talk to some sprint car drivers. But yeah, we just lucked out. And honestly, I didn't know what I was watching. But I love that track over there. Your grandparents built that?
Yep.
That's awesome, man.
When it first got built, like the light poles in the infield, it was quite a bit smaller than it is now.
Let me ask you this.
The track was the light poles. That makes any sense.
When I went over there, it looked like that. It looked like it used to be on 1 and 2. It looked like it used to go way further up.
It did. So that was when Mark Brill owned it. He made it a little bigger. From the time my grandparents built it, all the different owners afterwards, they all kind of inched out 1 and 2. And then the guy that got it now, he shortened it back up quite a bit, and it seemed to help. I liked it better as the old track just because I ran more on that track versus the littler one, but they both raced pretty good.
Well, man, I didn't know that. That's freaking cool. We've been sitting here talking before this thing for what, 45 minutes? And
probably.
I had no idea. Like one of my favorite tracks over here that I've been to. I did not know that. That's pretty cool. So yeah, it's in your family. What did you start out driving?
I started out driving a mini stock, which is like a 80s model Mustang 4-cylinder type car. Guy out of Enid named Johnny Rosenberg built it, and started out racing that when I was 14.
So is it like
about 2 years?
Is that like a hobby stock? What some people would call a hobby stock, or?
It's a little like it'd be a class below a hobby stock, probably. Got the same speed, but like a hobby stock is more of a V8 class, and these are 4-cylinder Ford motors.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Still a rear-wheel drive car and similar in speed. But
where did you go to? What did you go to after that? How did you progress into super late models modified?
I've done that about 2 years, and then that's about the time they started a class called E-Mod, which is now like a USRA's limited mod. Got one of those and ran it with the modifieds at Meeker for probably another 2 years, and then that class got big enough where they was having 20 and 30 car fields at all the time there. So we just ran there mostly. We do some traveling, go to Enid and Texas Motor Speedway every now and then, and kind of stuck in that class for a while. And then probably, I'm going to say 6 years ago, me and my dad both got factory stocks. like the Mid America factory stocks, and ran them pretty hard for about 3 years.
Okay, now when I met you over at Creek County, that's the other class that was there, right? That's what those were.
It is.
Okay,
Yep.
okay, and that's what the okay. So what did you
So
what
we
did you
ran
move into
those.
modifieds after that, or
No, after that we ended up getting late models, and that's so this will be my 3rd year in a late model.
straight to super?
Yeah, yeah.
Now,
So
for people that don't know, and there's millions of people who don't know, I mean, I promise. What's the difference in between? There's what? How many classes of late models? At least four.
probably 4 or 5, it may be.
Okay, and so you've got a 602 late models. You got 604s. You've got
Yep.
what do they call
We
like
got
a
steel block,
525?
right, and that's similar to 602 and 604.
Now, what's a steel block?
So it's basically, depending on where you're at in the country, it's basically an unlimited motor, similar to the supers. It's just the block has to be steel
Instead
um,
of like your
instead of
motors,
aluminum.
aluminum.
Yep.
Now, when they and aluminum, the whole motor is aluminum,
Yes, the block, the heads, intake, all of it. Yep.
and that's just to make it lighter, right? Is that what that's for?
Basically. Yeah. Now they're into some wide bores, and they got some pretty exotic stuff in the supers now. Where not not so much in the steel block stuff. It's more of a budget friendly class, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, because I mean, I was talking to some guys there at Creek County. I forgot. I think it was Glenn Powell, and I was asking him how much it cost. He said those new, like brand new Durams and stuff like that are like 60 grand.
Right.
I mean,
That's not an exaggeration at all.
that's tough for the average Joe to get it. Tell you right there.
It is. Yeah. So the steel block cars, they're more like a USMTS style modified motor, and it would be similar to something like that.
What are you
Um,
running?
we're running a 410 wide bore.
So what does that mean?
So the bore spacing in the blocks
So it's a 410 bore.
different. It's different than like a standard small block Chevy, just so you can get more cubic inch out of it. So there's some of them up in the 470s higher as far as cubic inch goes. But ours is a 410, 10 degree. Tony Hatfield at Modco and Joplin does all our motor work. And then we got a couple other aluminum motors just for backups.
Let me go back and ask you about this for people who may not know. But so your what did your motor start out life as? Was that what it started out life as?
That was originally it was a 410.
So they make it. I guess I hear a lot of stuff about like wide bore. Is
Yep.
that? I mean, what does that mean?
That's what. So it's just the spacing between each cylinder is different than like a standard small block Chevy.
Okay. Okay. So for people who don't know, like a regular old Chevy pickup had a 350 in it, right?
Right.
And
so
there,
yeah, the regular small block Chevy, about 406 cubic inches, about all you can go safely.
now you're talking about boring a 350 to is that what you're talking about?
No, they actually made a 400 small block Chevy
Okay.
motor.
Okay.
It was in some like 3/4 ton pickups and stuff like that.
Okay.
But you could bore them out to like a 406 and be pretty safe. Whereas the wide bore deal, you can go 480 cubic inch.
Okay.
So it's essentially a big block motor in a small block body.
So they just make those pistons wider so you can get more power. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, they're about 900 horse.
Wow. What's my 1500 Dodge with a Hemi in it? How many horsepower do you think it is?
Probably 280. Yeah, there's quite a bit of difference there.
Yeah, it is quite a bit of difference. So how many horses are you putting out your motor?
It's just a hair over 900.
Wait, okay. What? So what's more important, or are they both equally important? Your motor or your suspension setup?
I would say the suspension setup's more important
Okay.
than the motor.
Okay.
I mean, at a certain level, they go hand in hand, and uh, they're about equally important. But you can make in some of the smaller series, if you got a car that handles good, you can get by with a little less power than the other guys.
Does it? And I know people, and then I'm doing this for people that maybe don't know anything about this. So the suspension on any race car is like one of the most, I mean, probably the most important thing. And when we're talking about suspension, we're talking about you have adjustable shocks. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
So
Adjustable shocks.
and you can adjust the shocks for what kind of track you're on. How does that work?
So you can adjust the rebounding compression on both of them, and then, well, all of them actually. And then there's also a high and low speed setting you can adjust in there as well. For You can adjust it for anything from a super smooth slick track to rough and super tacky, or anything in between, really.
Okay, and the shocks, most people think about the shock. Is it, I guess I'm trying to understand, like most people think of shocks to make your ride smoother. Is that what you're doing? Or are you doing it, or are you using shocks for something different?
No, using it for a little bit of different stuff. I mean, you want it to be smooth to some degree, because that is, so your tire is the only part that touches the racetrack out of the whole car.
So what are you trying to make sure your tires stay on the ground? I know one of them you're
Right,
not, right? That front left one, it's usually never on the ground, right? Or
right,
sometimes
and
not.
yeah, you don't want it not. I'm gonna say not. A couple inches off the ground ain't a bad deal, but when you see some of them cars where they're real reared up and
Yeah, I
it's a
mean you
foot
see
off the
somewhere.
ground, it's right. That's not the most ideal situation.
Okay. But so you like your rear shock set up. I would assume that your right side is probably what you need to make sure it's on the ground the most, right?
It's actually the left one. The left one probably more than the right one. I mean, they kind of go hand in hand together, but so like the left rear's got two, where the right rear's got one. So there's a
Okay. So you're trying to make sure it stays pushed down while you're going around those corners.
correct.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. That I know it's like a science almost.
No, it is, and it can get. You can adjust yourself way far in left field in a hurry.
How do you figure? I mean, how do you figure it out? Do you just trial and error,
Trial and error.
and you keep a racing Bible? What was that
I
Jimmy
do.
Van Zandt has?
Yeah,
So
and I can help. Well, I got a bunch of people helping me, and I can make phone calls to some pretty good guys about any time I need to.
try to help you with setup, like for your tracks and stuff.
Right.
I
Um,
gotcha.
so like we run Black Diamond cars, which is Ronnie Stuckey builds those. Him and BJ
Down
Robinson.
down in Louisiana.
Yes, sir. I can call them about any time of the day if I needed something. They don't mind helping at all. So that's super handy, because they'll definitely tell you what not to do, so you can kind of get a little bit ahead of the learning curve on it. But there still is a huge learning curve there.
I gotcha. What kind of track do you like? What kind of track do you like running on? You like a small one? You like a half miler? Because you got what, quarter miles, 3/8, half miles. There's some
I
410s.
would say like a 3/8 is probably my favorite size track. I like running on all of them, but if I had to pick a size, it would be 3/8 quarter-mile tracks. It's a little easier on equipment sometimes.
As far as beating and banging, or what?
Well, just easier on the motor and the car, really. Not always. I mean, sometimes they're rough and it ain't gonna matter, but like them big, huge tracks, they're usually pretty hard on motors.
Just because
And
you're getting so fast, or what?
right, you're holding so many RPM for so long.
I got you.
In my personal opinion, the racing usually ain't as good on them bigger tracks.
Yeah, I mean for the fans, usually those bullring tracks are
Right.
pretty exciting. I mean, yeah, I mean, it seems like on those 3/8s, a lot of times. I know there's a big one here recently that didn't work like that. That I think you were at. Show me, you were up there, weren't you?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I went to the spring nationals and watched Hudson O'Neal get up front. He stayed there the whole time. I mean, somebody could go around him, but Bobby Pierce freaking went around everybody at the
Yeah.
show me.
He did. Yeah. So
So
like much bigger than Lucas is. I mean, I'll go to him, but that's Lucas size and smaller is more ideal for me. Like to show me though, like I think some of that's due to the caliber of cars you're racing with too or watching, because all of them are so fast. Any of them could probably win the deal. So I think that plays a little bit of part in how good the racing is. Uh, but then you go to one track and some of them guys will go to the back and come all the way back to the front. So there's a whole lot that goes into it though.
absolutely. Something else I wanted to ask you about, and this is a question I have from a fan that wanted me to ask you this. If they come to a track and come out to the pits and they want to get an autograph or something, when's the best time to do it? After a race,
Usually
before a race?
after the race.
Okay. Yeah, because you guys, I've seen it. I mean, you guys are, hammered down after
Right.
after hot laps. It looked like
Yeah, before ain't a bad time either, but it's got to be
way
super
before.
early. Right. Yeah, usually after the races works out the best. Kind of get through the rush, and you can just hang out for a little bit, before you load up and go home. So that usually works out better than earlier in the middle.
Yeah, somebody wanted me to make sure I asked that question. When was a good time to do that? So got that answered on the podcast.
Right.
There's one fan question answered. Something else too. Somebody wanted me to ask you, like, why do you love it? I mean, what is it about it that you love?
The competition, really. All honesty, it's all I know though. So I've been around it since I was in diapers. I wouldn't really know what else to do, but I like the competition. You always got to be on your toes and trying to figure out what to do to get better or what not to do.
Hey, how awesome is it to drive a race car?
Right, it's awesome.
Is it? Well,
Right.
I'm asking.
Yeah.
Is it
Oh,
awesome?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure
I'd
it
do
is.
it every day. I would.
I hear you. I hear you, man. I mean, from watching it, since I was a kid, I couldn't imagine how cool it is to be out there hammering down, man, going around them turns and stuff, man. That just, wow, that's got to be pretty cool.
Yeah,
Got to
it
be
is.
pretty cool. So, what would you tell people that have never been to a dirt track, don't know anything about dirt track racing? What would you tell them? Like, what's so awesome about it? Why they should come watch it? Why should they come watch dirt track racing?
Just the atmosphere. The people are always really good people. I don't know that I've ever been to a dirt track race where there wasn't everybody there to help everybody or make it as good a time as it can be.
Found
So
that
the
out.
people play a big part in it, but just the racing itself, there ain't nothing else you can go do. And I mean, golfing or whatever, it's just the rush of the racing and the side by side cars and
Yeah, I mean,
the whole atmosphere is awesome.
the smell, and that rumble. Which I don't. How many races have you watched from the stands? Have you watched? Have you
Uh,
watched? Have you watched a lot of features like A features coming around turn 4 that you haven't been in? You know what I mean?
yeah,
I mean that rush.
yeah. Well, it is. I
I
mean,
mean it is. Rumble.
so I get, yeah, I get more into watching how the car works since I do race, just trying to learn more than anything when I go watch.
You're technical.
Right.
Yeah.
But no, it's definitely a rush, even watching.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing, man. I mean, people need to get out there those tracks if they've never been and check it
They
out.
do.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's just You take your friends, your family, uh,
Yeah,
and you get out
you
there
can
and
take the
watch that
whole
stuff, man.
family.
And you put on a show for you. I mean, it's not, you pay 20, $30 to get in and watch, but I mean, how many hours worth of show do you
Yeah,
have? I
I
mean,
mean,
you ain't going to get that in
it's
a
4 or
movie.
5 hours a night worth of racing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. I mean, I
it,
do. I love it. I'm just trying to get people to
I
get out there
enjoy
and
it.
watch that stuff, man. And you're right about the people. I mean, when I came to Creek County, man, everybody I met over there, I mean,
Yeah,
they were
there's
just,
usually not a racetrack in the country where there ain't someone there to help the
yeah.
next guy right beside them.
Yeah. I mean, everybody seems like good, salt of the earth people, man.
Right.
Yeah, I had a good time. Now, another question I had, and this may not be, I don't want any specifics, but do you have beef with anybody? Like, is there drivers that you don't? I don't even want any names or specifics, but do you have people that you have problems with here and there, or does everybody get along?
Um, I feel like we get along pretty good with about everybody. I'm not saying everybody feels that same way, but for the most part, we all get along pretty good.
So does that depend from like race to race? Maybe what
Um,
happens in a race, or I mean, how often does that happen?
yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
somebody junk you out and you've been, I mean,
oh, it's happened. Uh, but you kind of know that's part of it when you go to. But I try not to drive people like that, and I'm sure I have, and I do.
how hard
But
is it? How hard is it not to do that? I mean, I mean, is it when you're going around those turns and stuff that fast? How hard is it to keep out of a guy if you're trying to go underneath him or?
I mean, there's some times when you get racing pretty hard, and just one little bobble can screw that whole deal up. And it might not have been. You just might have pulled a tear off and got your arm caught in the wheel or something goofy. So it don't take
Now
a whole lot of
hey,
messing
this
up
is the question I've been
to
wanting to
screw
ask too.
that whole thing up.
This is something else I wanted to ask too. Have you ever, you wear those helmets and all that stuff? Have you ever had a sneezing fit in
You
the middle of a
froze.
race?
You froze up.
Yeah,
Sorry about
it's
that.
all right. No, it's all right. It'll still keep going. Have you ever had a sneezing fit in the middle of a race?
No, I haven't.
I always
Which is,
wondered what that. I always wondered what happened if you ended up having a sneezing fit. You're running.
I mean, you would kind of think it'd go hand in hand with the dirt and the dust, but no, I don't think I have.
I know that's an odd question, but it's just something that I've always wondered about. Like, what do you do
Right.
running full speed, just yay close together, and you end up with a sneezing
Right.
fit? So you haven't ever had it?
Nope, I've never had to deal with that. Hopefully, I don't ever have to, but
Yeah, I hope not. I hope it didn't just jinx you.
I'm sure it would turn into a bad situation pretty quick.
Yeah, you've never heard of that happening either.
No,
That is odd. I mean, it's supposed to be. I wonder if it's because of the helmet.
it
Do
might
you
be.
do you have air coming in?
I do. Yeah, I got a helmet blower.
So you got a blower and it blows like. Is it just your head or does it fuel all of you?
No, so it just blows like in from the top of your helmet, kind of top of your head, and then just blows around in the helmet a little bit. And it's not a lot, but it's enough to make a difference.
How hot does it get in the summer? Wearing that fire seat, sitting in that car.
Oh, it's hot sometimes. August time, it's once you get out there and you're racing, it's not too bad. But like sitting in staging is the worst. So you do get a little aggravated sometimes when you're in staging. There's a bunch of wrecks, and you might sit in the car for 30 minutes with no air going. It gets pretty hot.
I bet. I bet it does. Let me ask you another question. As far as supporting classes, what do you think? What do you think the magic number is for supporting classes to go with?
Depending on the track, I'd say 2 to 3 classes. Now, like some of the series we run, they don't do qualifying and stuff like that, so that kind of speeds it up. But
They hot lap and qualify at the same time.
well, and there's some that do that too. So
So
all that
there's
little stuff speeds it up, and I would think if you would add another class on some of those, it'd be a better show for the fans.
well now for you though. I guess sometimes it probably helps if there's a lot. There's something you've got to work on.
Right? Yeah, because sometimes stuff happens, and you don't have enough time in between
And see,
races to get it fixed.
I didn't get to hang out with you over there very much at the actual race, but I did get to. I went to because we were talking to somebody, but I did get to see Jimmy. And I think he came up, Jimmy Van Zandt. He came up while I was filming there at the pits, and he's like, "Well, just come hang out." That dude and his guy were working on that car all the way from qualifying to the heat race. It was nonstop.
Yeah.
So,
and it's like that about every time.
And I would assume that the more classes you have going on, that gives you guys more time to figure out, work on stuff and figure stuff out. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, you can, if you got time to go look at the track, kind of see what it's doing throughout the night, you just make a better judgment call on what you want to do to your car.
And when you say look at the track, you mean
assume the track's going to do, see if it's getting dry or rough, or if there's a cushion or anything like that.
Yeah. Okay. And and watching it, that's when you. So is it? Do you adjust your shocks during the race and your tires, like tire pressure and everything, or what?
Yeah. Tire pressure, tire size, shocks. That's usually the 3 things we mess with the most.
Something else.
Tires being the biggest deal, because that's, I said it earlier, but that is the only thing that touches the racetrack.
So you have to make sure that you got the right pressure that you want in each one of those tires.
Right.
Now I've seen people grind the tires. What's going on when y'all grind the tires? What are you trying? What are you doing?
You're basically just trying to get down to the new rubber. A lot of times after a race, there'll be like a glaze over the top of the tire. So you're just wanting to cut through that and get back to good rubber.
For better grip?
Yep.
Okay. And then also, you guys groove your tires, right?
Yeah, so we groove them and sipe them.
So what are you trying to do there? I mean, what's that for?
So grooves are just, you got more edges on the tire, so essentially you're moving more dirt, if that makes sense. So kind of like tracks on a dozer.
Like gripping?
So, right.
Better grip?
Yeah, so like if there's no edges there, you're not digging into the track. That's another reason you grind tires.
Okay.
They'll kind of roll the edges over throughout the race, and you want to get those back squared off and sharp, nice edges. Then you sipe the tire just to either build heat or get rid of heat in the tire throughout the race.
Okay. What does heat do? I mean, are you trying to get more heat or you're getting less heat, right? What happens if it gets too hot? Blow up or blow out?
It'll blister real bad, and you'll run a tire, and if you don't do it right, you can run a tire in like a 8-lap heat race.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, so you're trying to get heat away from it and keep it from messing up.
Yeah. So you want to get heat in the tire, but then you don't really want it to go past a certain point. So you'll put more or less sipes in it depending on, and that's just depending on track conditions.
How do you figure that out? I mean,
so usually like a tacky track, you won't need as many sipes as something that's dry and kind of hard. Just because that mud kind of cools the tire down while you're running. I mean, it'll still build heat, but it won't be nothing like something that's drier or a track that takes rubber.
Okay. And then there are 4 different size tires? You got like
there's 4 different compounds.
1, 2, 3, and 4. What does that mean? When someone says I've got a 3 here and a 2 there.
So the higher the number, the harder the tire.
Like the rubber?
The rubber, yes. Yeah, so like a 1, a 2 is pretty soft, and then the 3 and 4 is quite a bit harder.
What situation would you use like a 4? Like what kind of track or what kind of track condition?
It's usually the drier the track, the harder the tire.
All right, so that Pre-County Speedway the other night. Pre-County Speedway looked like it was really hard, dry, and slick.
It was. And with that series, you have to run a 4 on the right rear all the time, where some of the other series you can run a 3. Pretty much every series you have to run a 3 on the right rear, and you can run twos everywhere else. But certain series, they kind of pick what tire you get to run, not necessarily the other way around.
Okay. All right. So they kind of tell you what you have to run, and then you have to figure out how much pressure to keep in that tire and what
Right.
to do to that tire before the race and stuff like that as far as grooving it and stuff.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that's all based on conditions, how wet, dry it is. I got you. Okay. Well, I can't. I know I've had you on here for a while. I could sit here and pick your brain all day long about racing stuff because I like to hear about it. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to learn about it, trying to get information from people out there about how this stuff works. But right now,
Yeah, well, we can do it. We can definitely do it again. And
well, hang on. Right now, I want to talk about this right here.
oh yeah,
Look at that,
all our
folks.
merch.
Look at that right there. That is a freaking hot racing T-shirt right there, buddy. That is awesome. I don't know, maybe the favorite one or my most favorite one I've got so far, and I got a bunch of them. I love that shirt, man. That thing's going to Illinois with me this week. But,
Well,
so if people want to get merch from you, how do they do it?
the easiest way is just go to Wilhite Racing Facebook page and message the page.
I'll link that in the bio. I'll put your Facebook link in there so people can find.
Yep. And we got that shirt. We have another shirt with our modified and late model on it.
Well, I saw that. I think it was nice.
Hats, koozies, keychains, some tumblers.
I'm gonna hold this up.
On there.
I'm gonna hold this up here again while you're talking about that.
So if anybody wants anything, that's about the easiest way to do it. Just go to the Facebook page and message, or you come to the trailer after the races, and we can get you taken care of there too.
Okay. And you guys can ship? Can you ship?
Yeah, we can ship.
Okay. Okay, good deal, man. So everybody, you saw how awesome that T-shirt was. I'll put the link in the bio to the Facebook page, and folks, get you one of those awesome T-shirts, man. I love it. Hat, whatever you can get, man, to help these guys out too. I mean, it's awesome, man. I love that thing.
No, it is.
That is, man. That's one of my favorites. I'm not joking one bit at all. I love it. And I love your car. Freaking looks awesome too, man. I love a good looking race car. That's my thing there,
Well,
man.
We definitely try and make them look as good as we can.
Yeah, man.
I think you do a pretty
awesome.
good job at it. But
yeah, I think you did too. I think you did too. All right. Well, I won't keep you on here anymore, man. Hopefully we can talk again sometime and catch back up and everything. So I will link the bio or link the description or in the description. I'll put the link to your Facebook page so people can find that merch and stuff, and follow Chris on there on the social media and keep up with him, and then go see him racing the Revival Super Dirt Series. You're racing that full time, right?
Not full time, but we'll race that series, sooner late model series, and then we'll race some comp cam shows.
Okay, and then
we are. Go ahead.
Do you put that?
We're going to go to
your
the
Facebook page.
Yes, we'll usually put it out like Monday or Tuesday before we go. Kind of give everybody a heads up of where we're headed.
You're going to the top.
Sometimes there's some spur of the moment stuff on there, but we'll give everyone as big a heads up as we can.
I got you. Yeah, I mean, I know that stuff can change, but for folks out there, I mean, if they want to find out, you go to his Facebook page, and I mean, you can find out where he's racing and stuff. If it's available, you can see it. And the Topless 100, you said you're going there?
We are.
That's my home race right there. That's my home track down there.
Yeah, we've been there a couple times. We ain't never ran there, but
I was
definitely going there.
I was at the first two of those.
Really?
Yeah, I was at the first two of those races, and then that was the last one I went to till last year. Period. That was the last race in 1990. I think that was the second or third. 1994. That's the last dirt track race I went to before last year.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, I didn't follow it at all. I saw a picture of maybe Brandon Shepard's car or somebody pop up on my feed on something. And it said something about super late model. I said, that's not a super late model. What is that? Because the last time I watched them, they were wedges.
Yeah, they've definitely changed a lot since then.
Yeah, they had changed a lot since then. I was like, what in the heck is that thing? but, but that's what I'm trying to do, man. I just caught a glimpse of something. And after being away from it 30 years, I got back into it and I forgot how much I loved it. How awesome it is.
Yeah,
I do. And
it
I
is
just want to
awesome.
find out as much as I can. But anyways, like I said, I'll put that link in the description, and you folks get out to a dirt track race, watch Chris wherever you can, and if you can't watch him, you'll watch any dirt track race. Get out to your local
any of them
track.
are- they're
That's
all
right.
good.
That's right.
There ain't a bad one in this country.
That's right. Get out there and have fun. And Chris, man, I appreciate it. And
Yeah, thanks for having the call.
we will talk again. Thank you, man.
All right, sounds like a plan.